The Wild by Juliet Huneke. Characters.
June, 18, driven without a direction, should be leaving for college in 2 months.
Theo, 20, a mostly lovable goofball, should have left for college a long time ago.
The Wild, nature personified, all the dark places and all the sunlight put together, comes when she's called, except when she doesn't feel like it.
Cedar, an inhabitant of the trees, an upstanding citizen, control freak.
Spruce, an inhabitant of the trees, confident in her wrong answers, always sincere.
Setting. The woods. Somewhere about 15 miles west of the last trace of the Pacific Crest Trail. Nowabouts. Early morning. A tiny, overgrown clearing in the woods. The trees that surround it are broad and expansive. Their trunks are covered in pillowy moss, their branches hanging with sage-colored lichen. It is what they call an old-growth forest. It is older than time and has been almost completely undisturbed by humans. This is no man's land. No trails, no paths, definitely no little bits of paper receipts or crushed up beer cans. No sign of human life anywhere. No sign except one. June, an 18-year-old girl, is asleep on the ground, inside a yellow sleeping bag placed on top of a foam sleeping pad. Beside her, her gigantic yellow backpack is balanced against a tree. As June sleeps, the Wild looms above her. She is formidable. On each side of her stand Cedar and Spruce, two inhabitants of the trees. They are less formidable, but still cute or whatever. The Wild speaks to us.
A girl walks into the woods alone, just packs a backpack full of camping gear and leaves her family. No explanation.
No note.
No text.
Exactly 1 month after her high school graduation day.
And exactly 2 months before her college move-in day.
And once she gets to the woods, she hikes directly off of the Pacific Crest Trail, diverges from a path that's been trodden by thousands before her, many of them who are older and thought to be wiser, and she hikes 15 miles into the pathless wild.
Scientifically, into the coniferous old-growth forest of the Pacific Northwest.
No man's land.
And then, after hiking 15 miles, the girl comes upon our clearing and falls asleep for the night.
Without a tent.
Without a tent.
Like a badass.
Like mountain lion food.
Her name is June, like the cloudless start to summer.
Crisp.
Crispy.
You might wonder, who am I? What am I to be interested in a human girl like June? I am the moss and the rain and the moon and the dirt at once. I have been around since the beginning of time and will be here until the end of time, in new form after new form, as sure as the trees in this forest. It is my duty to protect the wilderness, protect the moon, and protect young women. If you can't tell, June appears to be at a cross-section of those things. Therefore, I'm here as well. I've gone by many names in my time, Artemis, Diana, but I've always preferred to call myself the Wild. Because that's what nature is, that's what young women are, and in being the patron of those things, that is what I must be also.
And I'm Spruce.
It is not our turn to talk yet.
And that's Cedar. We are dryads. We speak for the trees.
That's the Lorax. You live in the trees.
You absolute bird brain. How many times have we been over this? Who is she?
Our boss.
Right. And who are we?
Her henchmen.
Well, assistants.
Her assistants. Therefore, she talks first, then we talk all we want after she leaves, because she thinks we're annoying.
Oh no, I forgot again.
Oh, obviously you forgot again. You always forget the rules.
Well, maybe if you didn't yell at me all the time, I wouldn't forget the rules.
How does that make sense?
It's hard to remember when you're yelling at me. I need quiet.
Oh!
On the ground below them, June sits up. She looks between cedar and spruce and the wild, who all freeze in place, aware that they've been noticed.
Ah!
No, don't be afraid.
June wriggles out of her sleeping bag, scrambles to grab her backpack, and scoops up her sleeping bag and sleeping pad. The wild crosses to stand in front of June, arms open wide.
Stop. Please trust me. Don't run away.
June runs, ducking around the wild and pelting off into the thick cover of the trees.
Wait, teen human girl, come back!
June is gone. The wild turns slowly to face cedar and spruce, who cower.
You are both bird brains. You're both going to have to reread the training manual.
A much larger clearing in the woods, not too far off from the one that cedar and spruce inhabit near a creek. A small, battered tent that is patched with duct tape is pitched on the right side of the clearing, and a small campfire has just been lit in the center. Theo, a 20-year-old boy, is tending to the fire, sipping out of a beat-up tin camping mug. He is caked with dirt and very cheerful. He sings to himself as he watches the fire grow.
Theo's making himself a fire, a hot, hot fire, for a cool, cool summer morning to cook some fish from the cold, cold creek. Breakfast for one at Cafe Theo.
Suddenly, June bursts through the trees.
Ah!
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 Hi?
Hi.
Oh, okay, cool.
What?
I didn't know if you were a person or like a very small Bigfoot, a boy who was raised by wolves. You're really muddy.
Yeah, I'm backpacking.
Yeah, gotcha.
Aren't you also backpacking?
Yes.
Do you know you're like 15 miles off the PCT? No one's around for miles. That's like very dangerous.
You know you're also 15 miles off the PCT?
Yeah, but I'm not the one who just came running out of the trees like I was being chased by a serial killer.
I just got spooked by something.
A bear?
No, not a bear. I'm a very capable hiker and backpacker, thank you very much. And if I encountered a bear, I would know exactly what to do.
Sure, totally. So what was it?
Look, I don't know. It wasn't a bear or a mountain lion or anything like that. It woke me up and then I just bolted. Maybe it was a sleep paralysis demon.
Whoa. What if you're a sleep paralysis demon for me?
I don't think that's how sleep paralysis actually works.
Sorry for not being that friendly just now. Not very backpacker polite of me. I was just really surprised to see someone out here so far off the trail. I haven't seen another person for like so long.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see someone else either.
Oh, cool sleeping bag. Yellow. Neat.
Uh-huh.
Like an egg yolk.
Yep.
So, I'm Theo. Nice to meet you, sleep paralysis demon.
I'm June.
What happened to your tent? Did you leave it behind when you ran?
No, I have it in my pack. I didn't use it last night. I wanted to sleep in the fresh air and like see the stars or whatever.
Dude, what? What if it rained? Or there was a bear, which I think there was.
I swear to God, there was not a bear. If you really need to know, my tent is super old and like sort of fucked up. Very fucked up. It's full of giant holes from where a possum ate through it in our garage. So it's more of a just for emergency use thing.
I would never go backpacking this far from civilization with a just for use emergency tent.
Well, I guess you're not tough like me. Bear Grylls.
Well, sure. So, how long are you backpacking out here for?
A while.
A while as in...
I don't know, at least 2 months. I brought some oats and beans and stuff to last a few weeks, and then I'm prepared to live off the land. Again, Bear Grylls.
Oh yeah, cool. Hardcore. That's what I'm doing too, actually.
Really?
Yep. Even this tea is made from birch bark I found myself. I forage and catch all my own food.
Sick. Yeah, that's my plan too.
So why 2 months? Why, is that the perfect vacation length?
Well, maybe 2 months. 2 months, and then I'll go back because in 2 months I'm going to college. But like, things change. Maybe I'll stay longer.
Right.
I mean, I have to go back. I'm going to Brown.
You would go to Brown.
What's that supposed to mean?
Just like you have Brown student vibes. I can already tell.
Sure.
Well, if you don't want to go back after 2 months of roughing it, you could always take a gap year. I'm out here and I took a gap year. Or 2.
Don't you mean you're taking a gap year or 2 because you're taking it right now?
Grammar, a Brown student. But yeah, you could take a gap year too.
I'm not taking a gap year.
Okay.
How long are you backpacking for?
My gap year.
Gap years.
For forever, actually, if you're so nosy.
Oh. So you just left forever to live in the woods?
Isn't that what you also did?
No, I'm going to Brown in 2 months.
Right.
Did you read that book?
What book?
Guess.
Into the Wild?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. I bet you did too.
Yes, but I didn't like it.
No way. I call bullshit.
Why?
You're telling me you abandoned your life and walked into the woods to go backcountry camping for an extended period of time, maybe forever, and didn't like a book you read about like the most famous guy to ever do the same thing? You weren't even a little bit inspired to do this by that?
Nope.
Bruh.
Chris McCandless seemed like an asshole.
And you slander the dead.
You can't tell me he wasn't inconsiderate.
Are you not doing almost the exact same thing as him? Ditching your last summer before Brown to go live in the wilderness?
Look, all I'm saying is people die trying to reach that bus where he camped in Alaska. A new one every year, inspired by his big backpacking adventure that led him to being poisoned by a plant and dying.
Well, that's not very optimistic for your own big backpacking adventure.
I'm going. Nice to meet you, Theo. Hope you don't get eaten by a bear or a mountain lion or a sleep paralysis demon. And I especially hope you don't poison yourself by eating the wrong plant.
June picks up her gigantic backpack and starts to walk back into the trees.
Wait. Sorry. Just, if you want, I can fix your tent for you. Mine always gets new holes in it. I have a giant tarp I've been cutting up to make patches for it, and I still have a little bit of duct tape left that I brought with me. I have a nice warm fire, and I was just about to cook some fish I caught for breakfast, and there's more than enough to share. No offense, but it's really dumb to sleep without a tent. Maybe just hang out for a bit. Fixing your tent should take a day and a half tops, and while you wait, there'll be food and a fire here, and then you can be on your merry way.
June hesitates, feeling the pull of the forest and the wild behind her, and the pull of the fire and Theo in front of her.
Okay, sure.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks for offering to help me with the tent. You're right. It would be nice to have one to sleep in case of bears or rain or whatever.
The least I could do for a fellow Bear Grylls.
Very high up in a tall pine tree that overlooks Theo's clearing, the Wild sits on a branch with Cedar next to her. Spruce hangs upside down off another branch like a little marmoset. The Wild peers thoughtfully down at the forest below her. While the Wild isn't looking, Cedar throws a piece of moss at Spruce. It hits her in the face.
Ow!
Serves you right.
Why are we up here again?
So we can see where she went.
Where who went?
The teen human girl, you know, the one you just scared away with your incessant yelling?
The one we just scared away with our incessant yelling. Don't diminish your hard work, friend.
That wasn't what we were supposed to do.
Quiet, both of you. I am trying to concentrate.
Yeah, shut up, Spruce. The Wild is trying to work.
What I'd give to have a consistent assistant, just one inhabitant of the trees who'd travel with me forever so I wouldn't have to keep switching. I deserve one. I have a pretty big job to do as far as nature deities go. The wilderness, the moon, and teenage girls, those are all very hard things to be protector of. It's a big job. And all this being summoned to this forest and then that forest and then back to this forest and always needing to enlist new tree beings to help me, none of whom, by the way, know how to read a training manual correctly. But no, I can't just pick the most competent one and bring her with me everywhere. They're all bound to their trees. Who made them that way? It's no good for my productivity.
We'll do better. We promise. Spruce, did you hear that? I've been doing a great job. She's talking to you. So that means no more being a stupid, dumb, idiot bird brain?
If you could use more help, you could always get more assistance.
How would that help her? More people getting in her way?
More hands on deck. I'm sure Douglas Fir would be honored to help. Maybe even Hemlock, too.
Who the fuck is that?
Hemlock? Oh, she's really nice. She's just got sort of scary vibes. Big, spooky eyes that pierce your soul.
No, who is that? In that clearing down there by the creek.
Well, that's June, the teen human girl we scared away.
I see that. I have eyes, but who is that with her?
Oh, it's that teen human boy.
That teen human boy?
That teen human boy.
Horrifying.
He lives here. We know him.
Well, we see him from afar. He's been here for a while.
Disgusting! A boy. But how interesting.
He's talking to June.
What's he doing out here? The wilderness is not a boy's place.
I believe he's taking part in the human concept of backpacking.
This won't do. I'm the protector of young women. A boy is not in my jurisdiction.
What do we do?
We'd better get down there to meet June properly, before it's too late.
Theo's clearing. June is holding her own camping mug over the fire to warm it. Theo is sitting on the ground, the tattered tent in his lap, his tent-mending supplies scattered around him.
Theo's mending June's tent. A holy, holy tent. A tent full of holes, but soon enough this tent will be holy. Holy like the Holy Spirit, because it won't have holes anymore. Yes, it will. Oh my God. Sorry, I sing to myself.
Gathered that.
Sorry. I've been alone for so long, I think I forget I do it.
No, don't be sorry. It was funny. I always sing when I'm alone too, like instead of talking to myself when I'm cooking dinner or something.
I sing all the time. I actually have a guitar.
Here?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
What?
You carried a guitar into the woods?
It's travel size.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely, yes. It's in my tent.
I should have known. You totally look like you'd be a guitar boy.
Oh, shut up. I bet you're a ukulele girl, Brown University.
A guitar boy is just the male equivalent of a ukulele girl.
You're totally a ukulele girl.
Okay, fine. But like in my defense, I know more than 4 chords. And I left it at home when I left to go backpacking. I didn't carry it all the way into the wilderness with me like a crazy person.
You should embrace it. I embraced being a guitar boy. It's very freeing.
No thanks.
You want me to serenade you?
I would literally rather die.
Vibes.
June sips from the mug she's been warming over the fire.
Hey, this is actually pretty good. Birch fir tea. I don't actually know if that's in any of the books I brought.
Yeah, my dad taught it to me when I was little on a camping trip. So, like, why didn't you just buy a new tent before you came out here instead of bringing this fucked up one that you weren't even planning on using because it's so fucked up?
I was using my own money and I could only afford to buy certain new things without my parents figuring it out.
Your parents don't know?
Nope.
Mine didn't either. Well, don't either.
Really?
It was easier just to leave than explain, don't you think?
Sort of.
You think they're going to come looking for you?
Probably. I mean, I think they would. They love me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think they love me a little too much, honestly.
Is that a real problem to have? Sorry. So you think they'll probably send the cops out to look?
They probably already called them. I doubt they'd find me out here, though.
Where are you from? Around here?
Yeah, sort of. Portland.
Cool.
What about you?
Not around here. Jersey?
Whoa, really?
Not like Jersey Shore, Jersey.
Sure. Gotcha. That's far.
I wanted to go far. I drove cross country.
I guess you did have lots of time taking your gap year.
Well, gap years, if we're being specific.
Suddenly, the wind picks up, the fire blows out, twigs snap, and the wild emerges from the trees, followed by cedar and spruce.
Hello?
I knew it!
What? Who are you? Also, like, what are you? Why are you all barefoot in the woods?
Be still, children.
I knew you were real.
Hold on. Is this your sleep paralysis demon?
Yes! I told you it wasn't a fucking bear. Fuck you, non-believer.
Okay, I believe you now.
I couldn't see well. I didn't know what it was. And she's a girl. And there are also girls.
Non-human girls who live in trees.
Did I eat the wrong mushroom?
June snatches up Theo's walking stick from the ground and brandishes it like a sword at the wild cedar and spruce in turn.
Go away. Stop following me around, whatever the fuck you are.
Yeah, back off, forest hallucinations.
June, calm down. I'm sorry for scaring you this morning. That wasn't how I wanted us to meet.
How do you know my name? Who are you?
I am the Wild. I am the protector of the wilderness and young girls. I was summoned to this forest by your presence.
And we're dryads, cedar and spruce.
Spruce, not again.
Dryads inhabit the trees. No one summoned us. We've always been here. So we've been watching you, mister.
Lovely.
You, and you. Be quiet. Especially you, teen human boy.
Well, I'm actually not technically a teen anymore. I'm 20, so...
June. You might know me colloquially as Artemis or Diana. I'm here to protect you and advise you.
Oh, cool, I guess.
You're doing fine on your own so far. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'll be here if you need any guidance while you're in the woods.
Sure, totally. Thanks.
We'll be watching over you, and I will visit you again soon.
Oh, when should I pencil that into my calendar for?
Not you.
Yikes.
Theo, be quiet.
Atta girl. Don't think just because I'm here it means you can't figure it out on your own.
Gotcha.
I'll just be around if you need me. Or if I decide you need me.
Sure. Thanks.
Good. Goodbye for now, June.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye, human kids.
The wild cedar and spruce disappear into the trees once more. The wind dies down again. The fire relights itself.
That was real, right? Like, do you also feel like that was real?
I feel like we can have collectively hallucinated together.
Well, unless I'm hallucinating you. I mean, you did just come barging into my campsite after I didn't encounter anyone at all for months and months and months.
I'm real. At least I think I'm real. And I think she was real too.
That evening, a creek. Theo and June stand at the edge of the creek, each holding small, collapsible fishing rods. Their fishing lines hang perfectly still. Theo and June wait in silence. June takes in the forest, the evening sounds, the smells, the rushing water in front of her. She breathes. Theo looks up at the sky to see if it might rain. It won't. He returns to looking at the creek, waiting for a fish to bite.
So, who would your Percy Jackson parent be?
What?
I don't know. That girl, creature thing. She said she's sort of like Artemis, and it made me start thinking about Percy Jackson.
That is such a random topic to jump to from that encounter.
Says who?
As opposed to, like, I don't know, thinking about how everything you've ever thought about what's real and what's not is maybe probably wrong. Science and all that.
Just making conversation. Asking who someone's Percy Jackson parent would be is like asking their zodiac sign, but more fun. Like, what kind of bender from Avatar: The Last Airbender would you be?
Obviously, I would be an earthbender.
Of course, and I would be air.
And I think my Percy Jackson parent would be Athena.
Yes, exactly what I was thinking.
And I think yours would be Hermes.
Nah, it would be Hades.
Okay, Hogwarts house.
Gryffindor.
Nope.
I took the sorting hat quiz.
Nope.
The official one.
I feel like everyone thinks they're a Gryffindor when they're actually not.
Are you a Gryffindor? Because I feel like you're a Gryffindor because you're saying that.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think I am then?
I am not sure yet. I'll get back to you. I feel like you're a Hufflepuff.
If you don't stop bullying me, you're going to make me some of my dad. Hades.
Huh.
Theo and June both turn back to watch the creek. They breathe.
It's crazy, but I've been here for like 2 whole years, I think. I lost track of time at some point. And I didn't know any of that. Like, that there were other beings or whatever living here. I thought it was just me.
Just you and the bears and the fish and the mountain lions.
Right, but like nothing else that could talk back to me.
Yeah.
And then you show up, and then they show up, and suddenly everything is talking back to me. I mean, no offense, obviously. I like talking to you, even if you bully me. But I just haven't had anyone to talk to for 2 years. 2 years! I thought I would have forgotten how. Like, I would have opened my mouth to talk to you, and nothing would come out. Or, like, something different would come out. A hum, or a snarl. Like, that I would have become an animal by now or something. Or, like, mud dissolved into dirt. But, like, here I am. I've been talking for, like, a minute straight now, and you're listening to me.
I can't imagine.
Crazy. Weird. Crazy weird. But like, I like having someone to talk to. I didn't think it was really something I missed that much. I mean, I talk to myself, but
June squats down to touch the creek. She lets the water run over the back of her hand. After a moment, Theo kneels down too to touch the water.
it's a reliable creek. Wherever you camp out for good, you should pick somewhere along this creek. Usually lots of fish, and the water's pretty clear. Gets pretty deep after a big rainstorm, though, but the rest of the time, it's perfect.
Yeah, totally. I'll keep that in mind. You got anything yet?
Not yet. Be patient. The fish will come.
I'm being patient. Be honest.
What?
Do you think I should go home in 2 months?
Isn't that what you're planning to do? Go to college and all that?
Not really. Well, maybe. But not really. I'm really lucky to be going to such a good school, and I worked really hard in high school to get there.
Right?
But every time I think about it, I feel like there's a boulder sitting on my chest.
I think it's normal to be nervous. It's a big change.
Can I say something crazy?
Sure.
So I have this irrational fear that, like, I'll get there, and the second I step foot on campus for orientation week, the president of the university will come up to me and be like, I'm sorry, we actually made a mistake when we were reading your application. You didn't actually get in, and you need to leave. And then I'll cry in front of my orientation group, who I don't even know yet. So it'll be totally humiliating and a very bad first impression. But my first impression won't even matter because I have to leave. And I go pack up my dorm room that I just unpacked and get on a plane back home. Which I know is bad shit, but I'm convinced it's going to happen.
That wouldn't happen. I mean, you got in. You deserve to be there.
How would you know? You don't know me.
I guess I don't.
But that's what I'm saying. No one would know. I won't know whether or not I deserve to be there until I get there and they tell me I don't.
Maybe just like take some time to take a chill pill before you decide. I'm sure that's what you're out here to do anyway.
Yeah.
For the record, I think you probably deserve to go. But I also think it sounds like maybe you don't want to. After being here for so long, I don't think I'd leave the woods for anything.
Suddenly, the whir of fishing line being pulled.
Got one! Finally!
Told you if you were patient, a fish would come.
June reels the fish in. Late morning. Back at the smaller clearing in the woods where June first spent the night, she has just finished pitching her newly repaired tent. With the sound of a small branch snapping, the wild appears behind her.
Jesus Christ!
Settling in here?
Oh, wow! New neighbor!
Spruce bolts inside the tent to look around.
Rule 43, no invasions of privacy.
Cedar chases after Spruce, also into the tent.
Right.
The sounds of a scuffle from inside the tent.
So, pitching camp here? Not hiking any farther?
Not for now.
Hmm.
I'm trying to stay near the creek. It's a valuable resource.
How is it an invasion of privacy to welcome our new neighbor?
But if you guys already live here, I can move.
No, stay.
Cedar shoves Spruce out of the tent and the two tumble to the ground.
You two, time out.
I was trying to make her follow the rules.
You pushed me.
The Wild points to two separate corners of the clearing. Cedar and Spruce stomp over to their corners.
I've never had to give my giants timeouts before. Had to write a new rule into the book for disciplinary measures.
I thought you were only coming back if I asked you to.
Or if I decided to. I felt like it. I do what I want, you know? You must know.
For sure.
So, you're really just going to stop hiking and stay here?
Yes. For now, like I said.
Are you going to keep fishing with that boy?
Maybe a visit once in a while. Like having a neighbor.
I am also your neighbor.
Spruce, we are in timeout. We have to be quiet.
Maybe I want to stay with my friends Cedar and Spruce now, too.
Can I sleep in your sleeping bag with you?
A neighbor. Not a bad idea.
Right, like in case of disaster.
Of course. Pardon me for assuming, but you didn't come hiking into the woods looking for a companion. A companion isn't compatible with peace and quiet and time to think, especially a boy companion.
Lady, I know, which is why I moved back over here to have peace and quiet and no companions. However, there are currently 3 companions here.
We're quiet neighbors.
You won't even notice we're here.
Spruce is wearing June's sleeping bag as a cape.
I'll get going then.
Cool.
I'll be back.
You're scary.
I hope not.
Like, you're pretty, but in a scary way.
Yeah, yes. Comes with the job.
Cool. Okay, bye now.
Yes. Mortal time goes by so fast. Bye now. Cedar, Spruce, give your new neighbor some peace.
The 3 of them vanish into the woods, leaving June alone. A few days later, Theo and June are gathering firewood at the stream.
Hey, I keep thinking about something.
Yeah?
You really didn't like the book?
Percy Jackson?
Into the Wild.
Oh, no.
Even though you're literally doing the same thing the entire book is about?
I'd say that's coincidental.
It's literally my Bible.
What?
It's like the rule book for me.
Except he literally dies at the end, so maybe don't follow all the rules?
It's a cautionary tale. Why don't you like it?
I mean, I'm not going to tell you what books you should like or not like. I just don't like the example he set.
The example he set that you followed.
No, he was unprepared.
You didn't have a tent when you
He had like this vision of grandeur, like of being this big adventurer who would change the world, like Thoreau or something. Which one is Thoreau and which one is Emerson?
You think I know?
He expected people to remember his name because of what he did.
Which they do.
And that's bad. They remember his name because his trip into the wild went badly. And the book is famous because his trip into the wild went badly. And some dumb people decide to follow his example and go backpacking unprepared and literally die.
Touche.
Sorry if that ruins your favorite book for you.
Nah. I was selectively listening.
How long do you think I've been here now?
I don't know. 3 weeks maybe?
I should have kept a tally.
Not worth it. I tried to do that when I first got here, but I lost count pretty fast.
True. I was just curious about how long I have left.
Before you go back, so you can leave for college.
Yeah.
I think there's probably still a lot of time. Definitely over a month, I'd say.
I wouldn't call that a lot of time. Like, a year is a lot of time. A century is a lot of time.
What are you going to study anyway?
Engineering.
What?
What?
I would not have guessed that.
Because I'm a girl?
No.
I'm good at math.
I'm sure you're good at everything if you got into Brown.
Not everything.
Engineering is just very cold.
Cold.
Yeah, like cold.
Huh.
Like, don't engineers sit all hunched up in a lab all day and never go outside or see the sun? Right? That's engineers? I'm realizing maybe I don't actually know what an engineer does.
It's just a good career path for people who are good at math.
Do you want to be an engineer?
I don't know if I want to be anything other than employed and okay at my job.
Did your parents tell you to major in engineering?
Nope. They told me I could do anything I wanted as long as it's a stable job or whatever.
You could be a marine biologist. They're good at math, I think. Maybe that's astronauts.
Night. June's clearing. June and the wild lie on their backs and stargaze.
So why are the only options to go to college or stay here forever?
Hold on. We've been talking about me for a long time. I feel like I'm in a job interview. Can I, ask a question or two? Can we take turns every once in a while?
Go ahead.
Joe, tell me about you. What's it like to be the wild? Do you need an alarm to wake up in the morning, or do you just wake up?
The sun wakes me up.
That was just a fun joke example question. Just I want your life story.
Well, that may take a little while, seeing as I'm older than time.
You don't look a day over 30.
Thank you, June. And my job is to guard the wilderness and young women like you. So I watch over any young woman who enters the woods, blah, blah, blah.
So this is your job.
Yep.
I'm guessing you never get to retire?
Nope. But I do have tenure by now.
Who's your boss?
What?
If this is your job, who's your boss? Zeus? Or some equivalent of him? Am I supposed to believe all that other stuff is also real?
God, no. Ew, I do not have a boss.
Cool. Okay, that's the end of my turn.
Okay. So back to the question. Go to college or live in the woods. Those are the only options?
Well, in my opinion, those are the only good options.
I see.
Actually, there's only one good option, and it's go to Brown. It's just that living in the woods forever is an appealing option.
Why is Brown a good option but not appealing?
It's appealing, sort of. People have fun in college. I just don't particularly want to go myself right now because I think it will be very stressful and sad. But I could still go. I want to do something important or whatever eventually, when I'm 43-ish, and it's costing my parents a lot of money and loans and stuff, and I put a lot of time getting in, the whole past 4 years, and I don't want to let anyone down.
You can make your own decisions. You shouldn't let your parents make your decisions for you.
They're not. They aren't outright telling me you must go. I just know they want me to go. And they've been telling all their work friends I'm going to Brown, and they're so proud because I'm going to do something that matters, probably. People who go to Ivy Leagues do things that matter. And if I don't go, they don't get to do that anymore. I just feel like I need to take up all this space that I don't actually fill. Everyone thinks I do, but I know I don't. And then I'm going to try to do it anyway, and I'll be like Flat Stanley. Maybe you don't know him. He's flat. Because I'll be stretching so hard to fill it, I'll be made of paper. Stretching so hard to be smart girl going to smart school, but still cool girl who's pretty and fun and has lots of other fun, pretty friends, but is still a politically engaged, highly competitive student. A woman in STEM, or whatever the fuck. Someone who takes up space, but takes up space in a chill way, a chill, politically engaged girl who is politically engaged, but above all, chill and smart. And then I'll be Flat Stanley, Is that a common thought to have, Flat Stanley, or is that weird to be so concerned about?
I think maybe it would help you to think about. The world doesn't revolve around you.
Oh my God, that is not what I expected you to say.
It's not? You don't think it's true?
I mean, obviously I know it's true, yes. That's not an encouraging thing to say. Lady, guardian of women, acting as my therapist. It's actually a scary thing to say because then what even matters? This is your job. Do you say that to everyone?
Maybe you weren't ready to hear it.
Are you usually bad at your job, or is it just for me?
This is usually how it goes at this point.
What's your success rate?
Cedar and Spruce come running out of the trees.
We found it.
We found it. Hi, June. We found it.
Hi, guys. You found what?
Part of my other duties, putting out fires.
What's the problem?
Literal fires.
Oh, near here? Should we be running away?
15 miles away.
No need to get worried. I'm going to go put it out.
That's reassuring.
I can't always catch them these days. Too many, so they're harder to pin down, which is why I sent Cedar and Spruce to go find it. So this one I've got now.
You're welcome.
And with that, I'm off. Good night, June. And good night, my assistants. Thank you for your big help today.
The Wild disappears into the woods.
Hey, could I ask a question?
Only if we get to answer it.
It just hasn't occurred to me before. If she's older than time, how old are you guys?
17.
7,000.
Makes sense. So you've been around for a long time then.
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you do when you aren't working for her?
Well, we do her job on a much smaller scale.
It's boring.
We watch over our own trees and our own little patch of earth right here.
It's boring.
Spruce!
It's okay. Most people's jobs are boring.
It is not boring. It is our duty as the guardians of the trees. It is a little slow at times.
Our trees are generally not under attack.
We're far from the trail, no hikers throwing granola bar wrappers at us.
Except you and Theo.
Well, yeah, no need to worry about any granola bar wrappers from us. Well, if you ever get really bored doing your totally not boring job, I'm always here. Or at least I'll be here for a while longer. So, come hang out with me. Theo, too. We're fun. She's scary.
Yes.
Yes.
But good scary.
Yes.
Yes. Good scary.
Days later, early morning before sunrise, a cliff overlooks the forest below. From not too far away in the woods, voices are heard.
Are we almost there yet?
Almost. We are almost there.
I'm tired. Why couldn't Spruce and I just teleport?
The whole point of a hike is the walk.
Cheer up, Cedar. We have the honor of being included on a sacred human ritual. A hike.
I don't know why this hike had to happen at the crack of dawn and uphill the whole way.
Like I said, it's a surprise.
It's too early in the morning. I need my rest.
Beauty sleep.
Theo, June, and Spruce burst through the trees and onto the cliff. Cedar follows close behind.
This is your true welcome to the neighborhood. Sorry it's a little late.
Wow!
See? You can't watch the sunrise over the woods unless you wake up at the crack of dawn. I think we're right on time too. Come on, sit.
They sit to watch the sunrise.
Cedar, June, that's where we live.
This is a very beautiful view.
You can see everything from up here.
It
It's one of my favorite places to go.
looks like it goes on forever.
I think the sun's about to break the horizon.
The sun rises over the tops of the farthest trees. The pink light hits their faces.
Ooh.
There she is.
Spruce leans her head on Cedar's shoulder, and they fall asleep.
Wow. Wow.
It's so beautiful.
It's so big. It's like time stands still.
For real. I mean, where else could you feel this feeling? Like, all you have to do is sit and wait, and the whole wide world just turns colors. This is why you shouldn't leave. This is why I can't imagine ever leaving.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm not telling you to do anything. Sorry. I'm just saying this is why I'm not leaving.
Why'd you run away from home? Oh, come on. Don't be a baby. You know why I ran away.
I needed to get away from my parents, and this is what I knew how to do.
Run away?
No. Well, yes. I did run away a couple times, but backpacking. Like, backpacking is what I knew how to do.
I see.
They sent me to a youth wilderness program. You know what that is?
No.
Like wilderness therapy for troubled teens.
Were you a troubled teen?
Not really. I mean, sort of. I had a small drug problem.
Oh,
But my mom had, I guess probably still has, a large drug problem. Hence why I would just leave all the time. And then I'd come back after a few days when I got tired of crashing on my friends' couches.
yikes.
So then, because I disappeared all the time, my dad called the wilderness program people because I was out of control instead of doing something about my mom who was actually out of control.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What was the wilderness like?
The wilderness was amazing, and she still is. But the program was not amazing. You don't know anything about wilderness programs? Okay, so they like kidnap you from your house, right? These dudes just showed up at my house and took me, and I had no idea where I was going or where I was going.
What?
I know, and I'll never forget. Just like the image of my parents, just standing there and watching and realizing they weren't trying to stop it.
That's insane.
Yep. And so I ended up in Utah. There are no laws in Utah. In the middle of nowhere, like nowhere, with a couple wilderness counselors, which is not a real certifiable counseling profession, I think, and 9 other teenage guys whose parents also sent them there. And you do everything yourself. You build fires and carry all your supplies on your back and bathe in rivers and walk like 10 miles every day with no endpoint.
And it's supposed to be therapy?
Well, it is therapy, just not good therapy. Or it wasn't good therapy for me. It's supposed to be like scared straight, you know? Maybe that's good therapy for some people, but I don't like being scared. I mean, I think some of the programs are actually good, like helpful. If they're run by actual doctors or whatever, mine just wasn't helpful. We did these things called solos, where they leave you alone in the wilderness, no one else around, and you just have to survive on your own for a few days.
What if someone died?
They wouldn't. Well, maybe, but I didn't. You're like forced to survive. You figure it out. Your instincts go nuts.
Sounds traumatic.
Yeah, it was bad, not good. But like, it's how I learned everything. Just maybe not the things I was supposed to learn, but I learned to stay near water and how to navigate well and start a fire. And so then when I finally had it with my parents, the summer after they sent me to Utah, I took my dad's car and came here to the woods, as far away as possible.
Because that's what you knew how to do.
Because that's what I knew how to do. And because it's what people in books do. Into the wild, you know? Walden Pond.
So are you glad it happened to you?
No.
Theo and June both watched the sunrise.
Okay. If you could do anything in the world right now, what would you do?
I don't know. What would you do?
I would be an animal. Become an animal.
What? What animal?
I don't know. An animal. Any type. A woodland animal, I guess.
Like a squirrel?
Sure. Well, maybe preferably not a squirrel, I guess. Like, I love living in the woods, but it would be even better if we were supposed to be here, you know? Like, evolutionarily.
June stands up. Theo looks at her expectantly. She cups her hands to her mouth, takes a deep breath, and howls. Theo jumps up and howls too. They run around up to the edge of the cliff and back again, howling and jumping in the air and laughing and howling some more. The hubbub wakes up Cedar and Spruce.
I'm awake now. Now I'm awake.
What are you doing?
Howling.
Why?
Because! Try it.
Spruce gets up and scampers around, howling with Theo.
There's not even a moon to howl at.
There's a something up.
Seer tries a little howl. She likes it. They all howl together. The sound of rushing water. The stream is overflowing, and white water tumbles and foams over the rocks. Theo and June stand, holding their fishing rods.
Whoa,
Must be because of the storm last night.
the water's so high.
Maybe we shouldn't fish.
Kind of makes you want to make a boat out of a leaf boat, and see how far it could float downstream until it capsizes and gets all smashed up on the rocks. We could have a race.
June scampers down to the water's edge with her fishing rod. Theo lunges like he's going to pull her back, then stops himself.
Wait, don't go so close.
I'm fishing.
Seriously, I don't think we should fish.
What? Don't be a baby. Come on.
The water's really high and it's moving really fast.
I think we can handle it.
For real, don't go so close.
Theo, I've been here for at least a month and a half now. I can
And I've
handle
been here for literally years. Don't be fucking stupid.
Why are you trying to mansplain creeks to me?
I'm not mansplaining just because I'm a man explaining.
You are if you're being a little bitch.
I know better and I'm telling you, it's too dangerous right now.
Theo, sometimes you think you know everything and you need to help me with everything. 1, you do not know everything. And 2, you don't need to help me with anything, actually.
Because you have a magical forest lady who helps you with everything.
June turns and walks right up to the water's edge.
I'm not kidding. Get away from there.
Shut up.
What?
Stop telling me what to do.
I'm just telling you, I know it's not safe.
Believe it or not, I also know things.
I know you know things, obviously, but you don't know everything right now.
You don't know what it's like. Like, you don't know what it's like to have every boy in my math class thinking I didn't deserve to get into the school I got into, and they did, and I took their spot. Because I'm not some white dude named Andrew or something, because how could I possibly just be smarter than them and work harder than them when they obviously know everything? Like when they always had to tell me how to solve the new type of problem we were learning, even though I didn't ask. That happens with everything. The world is full of Andrews from math class. You try that. You try having people tell you you didn't actually deserve anything you got, and you just got it because you're different from them.
No, I'm not saying that.
Stop acting like I don't know what I'm doing. And like you need to help me. I know what I'm doing.
I'm not telling you what to do because I think you don't know. June, you know like everything about everything, Brown University.
So why are you doing it then?
Oh my God, because you're the only person that I know right now. And I'm trying.
Obviously.
You are the only person around it all. And I'm trying to keep you safe as a friend because friends care about each other.
A friend would just want to sit and fish with me and talk about Percy Jackson, which is what I was excited to do, but I guess I'm not allowed to sit by the stream because big smart man Theo says no, it's too scary.
You're the one who keeps coming back to keep me company.
And?
You don't have to keep doing that if you don't want to. If you think I'm that annoying.
Okay.
I was alone and doing just fine before you decided to stick around for months.
Okay.
June walks out of the clearing. Theo is left alone. Night. Theo is tending to his campfire, poking it with a long stick. After a moment, the sound of twigs snapping from the trees surrounding the clearing.
Hello? Nothing there, dumbass.
More snapping twigs.
Hello? Hello? Just talking to myself, I guess. I must look like an idiot. An idiot too. Oh my God. Months and months of being here, and now you want to get spooked at night, Theo?
Twigs snapping. Branches snapping.
Hey!
Theo spins around to face the trees, brandishing his fire-poking stick. More snaps and pops.
Hello? June? Is this a prank? Am I being pranked? Look, I'm sorry I mansplained streams to you. Is this revenge?
A big snap.
Okay, this is not funny anymore. Obviously, someone's there.
One little pop and the wild appears behind Theo.
Talking to yourself?
Oh, it's you.
You know, you can't just talk and expect someone to answer you.
I thought it was June coming back to apologize, or well, maybe make me apologize to her, which I would. Just June coming back so that we can make up.
You can relax, Theo. Put down the stick. I'm just stopping by.
The Wild sits down by the fire.
So you're getting used to having someone to talk to, not just yourself. Is it nice?
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds boring.
You were alone for so long.
Yeah,
How long?
I don't know exactly. I lost track of time. A long time.
A long time. Not talking to anyone.
Well, to myself.
But you wanted to be alone, right? Isn't that why you decided to run away from home and live in the woods?
I wanted to be away from the people I was with.
Right.
But maybe I didn't want to be alone, like forever.
Some people just can't survive on their own.
Sure.
But if they don't get a chance to try it, they won't know they can't.
Is that about me or June?
I think it's clear that you can't, Theo.
You don't know anything about me.
Actually, I do. I know everything about you. Omniscience, you know?
Everything?
Everything.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you want from me? Why are you here?
I'm here to tell you I'm on to you. And I could tell her everything about you if I wanted to.
So why haven't you?
I know you. I know you don't want to go back to talking to yourself. That you'd rather she stayed in the woods. I'm just asking you to be honest with her and with yourself.
I am. I will.
Of course. And I'm asking you to let her make the decision on her own.
No.
I'm sorry?
Why do you get to tell her you think she should leave, but I'm not allowed to tell her I think she should stay?
Because I am her, and I am the woods.
A twig snapping. The Wild is gone. Night. June in the Wild, on the cliff overlooking the forest.
Take him out of the question. Talk about yourself. Then you can work him into the equation. Or not. What do you think you want to do?
I don't know.
Make a guess.
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I thought I did at one point, and then it all got closer and closer and closer, and I don't know. I wanted a change. Well, college is supposed to be this huge change, but I didn't want that. I wanted a change on my own terms, my own adventure in the woods.
I wonder if the real adventure is here or if it's out there,
Out where?
out of the woods.
It can't be both?
It can be both. It can be both together. Look at the trees.
I'm looking.
Look at the trees and the dirt and the ocean and the mountains and the sky.
I'm looking.
They're huge. The trees and the ocean and the sky. The sky. The sky. They're huge.
Especially from up here. I told Theo it looks like the world goes on forever.
And you're small. This world doesn't revolve around you. Remember I told you that once? You're small and the world is huge. And so because of that, it doesn't revolve around you. It can't.
So then, not to be dramatic, but what is the point?
The point is that you're still part of this world. You're still part of the trees and the dirt and the ocean and the mountains and the sky. And it's your job as a part of this world to make this world function best.
I don't know what that is for me.
You told me once you feel like everyone expects you to fill all this space that you don't think you're big enough to fill. So fill the space you're meant to fill. The space in this big old world where there's a perfectly sized June-shaped hole. You'll find it.
You think so?
Goes like you often do. If you ever feel like it's closing in on you, like things are getting closer and closer and closer and your world is shrinking, remember, it's not. That's not how the earth behaves, shrinking. The earth is huge, like the trees. It's huge and it's always growing.
So does that mean as it grows bigger, I shrink in comparison?
Or you can grow with it.
Theo at the creek the next morning. He sits, doing nothing, listening to the quiet. June appears out of the woods.
Hey,
Hey,
you weren't at your tent, so I figured you were here.
yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
Cool.
I'm leaving.
When?
Tomorrow morning.
Why?
Because I need to do something. I don't know what exactly. Like, do my part. And I can't do anything from in here.
So you're gonna listen to her over me?
No. I decided. I'm listening to me. I'm listening to me, then you.
What does that even mean?
You can come with me.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
It's not that easy.
Yes, it is. Pack up your stuff and we'll walk out the way I came in. I have a good sense of direction. Bear Grylls.
No, it's not as easy as just deciding to leave.
What am I supposed to do? Just leave without you? Like abandon you to the elements?
I was abandoned to the elements before you got here.
Theo, you can't stay here forever. You're not taking a gap year, you're taking a gap life. Living in the woods is amazing, but it's not the only beautiful thing in the world. I know it's scary. I am very scared, but you wouldn't be alone. I could help you find a job or reapply to colleges. I am good at applying to college. Please? I'm leaving. I have to leave, but I don't want to leave without you.
And I don't want you to leave without me, but I can't leave.
You're being so annoying.
The Wild appears.
I think you're losing the argument, June.
No, I'm just still in the convincing process.
Theo, what was it you said to me? That you were going to be honest with June and with yourself?
What?
You tell her or I will.
What does that mean?
I can't leave.
Yes, you can. What did that mean? You tell her or I will?
Tick-tock.
I'm working on it.
Tell me what? When did you talk to her?
June, listen to me. I can't leave. I am not capable of leaving.
That doesn't make any sense.
I want to leave. I want to leave with you. I want to leave so bad. You're my best friend. But if you hike out, I can't come. You'd start walking and you'd turn around after about 5 miles and I wouldn't be there.
You wouldn't be there?
Yes.
So you're saying you're not real?
No, I'm real, just like she's real.
I'm confused.
I'm no longer alive.
Oh my God. What? How?
I feel bad. I should have told you sooner, like right away, but I didn't know you'd be able to see me, you know? Like being an actual alive person, because I hadn't seen anyone for years, like actual years. So when you ran into my campsite, I was so surprised because you were there and you could see me and you could talk to me and I could talk to you. And then I started thinking maybe you were dead too, and that's why you could talk.
Am I?
No, of course not. You'd remember. I remember.
You remember? What happened?
I drowned in the creek. A stupid way to die after surviving foraging in the woods for months, but after a big rainstorm, so the water was really high. I was fishing and I lost my balance and fell. And I think I hit my head on a rock, and I remember breathing in water and yelling for help, but no one answered, obviously, because there was no one around for miles and miles.
Holy shit. So that's why
I was freaked out about the creek, because I didn't want you to fall in.
Theo, I'm so sorry.
So I remember not being able to breathe and yelling for help. And then I woke up right here by the creek again. And I was here, but I knew I wasn't here anymore. I have no idea why I am or why you can see me and talk to me.
June hits Theo in the arm very hard.
Ow, what?
Sorry. I was curious if you were like, phew.
Dumbass.
Wait, so what's stopping you from leaving, though? You've walked far from the creek. We hiked up the mountain. You could still come with me.
No, believe me, I've tried. Can't leave the woods. I think it's like a 5-mile radius.
It's like purgatory.
It's okay. I can hike and play guitar and fish in the creek. It's like I can live. I just can't live outside this, like, circle drawn in the sand. But for a while, it was like, what more could I want? It's okay. You leave if that's what you want to do.
No. I don't know. I was depending on you coming too.
I want you to stay here, but you should do what's best for you. And maybe that's outside a 5-mile radius.
What about you? You're just going to be alone forever now?
I did it for like 2 years. I could do it for eternity more. I'd figure it out.
I don't think I can just leave you in here for eternity.
June, regardless of whether you just leave me in here, here's where I'm going to be. Leave. Go to college. Or don't. Take several gap years. But if you stay here long enough, you might end up stuck. And I love having you here, but I don't want you to get stuck.
Like you are?
Take the night to decide. You have a little time.
Doesn't sound like that much time.
They sit. They listen to the silence. The next morning, Theo sits in front of his tent. He kicks a pebble or two. June emerges from out of the woods with all her belongings packed up and on her back.
You're leaving. Good. Nice. You feeling ready?
As ready as I can.
You got everything?
Didn't have that much to begin with.
Well, good. Brown University waits for no one.
I think I'm going to take a gap year, actually, and go to Brown next year or somewhere else.
Badass. What are you going to do then? On the outside.
I don't know. Go home, apologize to my parents for running away, convince them I need a minute to figure out what I want to do.
You don't need to convince anyone else.
Yeah. And I think I want to change my plans a bit. Spend more time outside. So maybe not engineering.
Marine biology.
Maybe. I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to help the world function, you know?
Yes.
I've been thinking a lot about wilderness therapy, like actual wilderness therapy. No kidnapping. Figuring out how to make it better, not traumatizing.
That's amazing. You'd be really good at that. I mean, I think you need some math to study psychology.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try to come back one day and tell you all about it.
If you can find your way back.
I could. I have a good memory. Or I could just ask a certain supernatural someone for help navigating.
Be safe hiking.
I will.
Don't eat anything poisonous. No snacking on random berries.
Yeah.
Watch out for bears and sleep paralysis demons.
Twig snapping, the wild appears.
Theo, stop worrying. I'll be guiding her out. No bears.
Just making sure. Life is precious, you know.
Now it's time to get moving, June. We're going to need all the daylight we can get.
I'll miss you.
I'll miss you too.
I'll try to come back.
I'll be here if you do.
Good.
Goodbye, Theo.
Bye.
Bye. Safe trip.
And June and the wild walk out of the clearing. It's silent. Theo sits in the silence and listens. Yup, he's alone. Many, many moments pass. This is how it was before and how it's always been. Theo comes to terms with the fact that he doesn't like it anymore. Then,
Theo?
Human boy! Hello!
Oh, hi, guys.
Sorry to bother you.
What are you doing?
I was just sitting in silence, you know.
Of course. I'm familiar. Sitting in silence.
Not anymore.
Be polite. We have to ask.
We'd like to go for a hike up the mountain to look at the whole forest below us again.
If you aren't busy.
You don't want to just magically teleport or whatever?
The whole point of a hike is the walk.
We've been recently unemployed. We've got a lot of time on our hands.
So do I. Sure. Sure. Let's go for a hike.
Cedar and Spruce scamper away into the forest. Theo starts to follow and looks back at the clearing. June has left behind her packed up, duct tape mended tent on the ground. Theo follows Cedar and Spruce into the wild. End of play.